Welcome back to Loughborough University. 1 down, 2 to go. The Vase final up next on Touchdown Tuesday as the showpiece event of British University American football continues to tick along here, and all the build up as well, of course, to BUCS Big Wednesday coming up, where multiple other sports get set to take centre stage tomorrow. But it is down here on the field where our focus will continue to be throughout today, going into the afternoon and then the evening encounter as well of the championship game. But the first final sees SGS Pride taking on the Brunel Burners. Alongside myself, Oliver Wilson, is Natasha Crump. And Tash, former GB flag player, former Uniball player and coach. You have a wealth of experience, obviously, at this level of University American football. What we've seen already today has set the stage very high. Can we continue it throughout these next two games? Because I get the feeling that the Brunel Burners are very much fancy to be able to control this second game of the day.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Brunel Burners and kind of just what they've been able to do for many years, is they've been a team that attracts, well, just a university that attracts good American football players. And I think you can see from their season this year, they are the ones to beat. They declined last year to actually be promoted, so you kind of expect them to, have that, I guess, strength and power going forward. But you can't rule out SGS Pride yet, because when you look at them as a school, they are built up of athletes. They have many programs across their school, and as you say, it's mainly sixth form and uni students, so we're looking at kind of 18, 19-year-olds across the board. It's a very young development, but they actually have a lot of experience on their team, in the sense that probably lots of GB students playing, and across the board talent in that sense. So you never know what can happen. SGS Pride could potentially pull something out of the bag.
Yeah, there's certainly plenty of potential for the SGS Pride to maybe just upset the odds and put them in their favour. We will find out over the next few hours. All of Touchdown Tuesday, of course, is powered by the partnership with the Union Jack Classic coming up in September at Wembley Stadium.
This is more than a game. It's tradition. It's families. It's generations. It's pure tribalism. It's excitement like you've never experienced. Wembley Stadium 2026. Big moments, big hits, big stakes. Kansas versus Arizona State. Reserve your seats today. Tickets going fast. UnionJackClassic.com.
UnionJackClassic.com, or the QR code as well that was on your screen to get your tickets. Special ticket prices available as well for those participating today in the BUCS events and across the week as well, with BUCS Big Wednesday looming on the horizon tomorrow. Those silver lids of the SGS Pride are looming on the horizon there, waiting just behind our Zebra crew led by Ewan Patterson to get underway. There's a few players that know a little bit about the Pride coming into this one. Elliot Daniel, who we saw just a moment ago before that trailer for the Union Jack Classic, making his way off the field. A Brunel Burner wideout who actually played for the SGS Pride and has been very good this year as well, the rookie in his first year with the Brunel Burners. And it may be a case of better the devil you know more than anything else. Does it give you an inside edge at all if you've just got a little bit of knowledge on another programme?
It does, but it depends how long ago you played for them, because things do change at programmes. But I think in terms of SGS Pride, they've had their head coach, Benjamin Herod, has been the head coach since the start of the programme. So you are likely going to see the same sort of plays as to when you were potentially playing at that institution.
Ewan Patterson leading the officials out, our head referee for the second game of the day on Touchdown Tuesday. And now the patient, almost impatiently waiting for the teams to make their arrival on the scene. Get some lights and some fireworks, and it certainly gets the juices flowing, that's for sure, for these big events. The tough thing is you can see just on the left-hand side of your screen, it's that the Brunel Burners are within touching distance of the opposition. It's all being very amicable down there. We don't need any pre-match skirmishes, that's for sure, but we did see the intimidation tactics come out a little bit with some of the introductions earlier on today, as the SGS Pride will make their way out onto the field first. Isaiah Kjellberg leading them out, the big offensive lineman, and the Pride brimming with it as they enter what is the big stage of their season, the Vase final. Saw JJ Aboa guy getting ready down there, one of the big presences on the D line. Thomas Pandey Jackson, the number 88 as well, could be a useful component in the wide receiver position. They've got a whole lot of wide receivers that can potentially do some damage today, the SGS Pride. Now they have to wait and watch as James Kelvin, head coach of the Brunel Burners, and his team will make their way onto the field. Cal Kamara, Team GB, will lead them out. The number 14 wide out, Christian Zielinski, is the man to watch, though, the number 3 quarterback, as the Burners make their way onto the field and get ready to lock horns against the SGS Pride. We've had a barnstormer already in Loughborough. Another nail-biter would go down a tree here in the sunshine. Of course, that first game of the day, the trophy final, going into overtime, which is why it's going to be a slightly delayed kick-off, estimated around about 2:10. We will try and keep to the schedule as much as possible. Things do happen on these sorts of occasions. It's better to see something going down to the wire than anything else, and I think everybody watching that first game was quite happy to see overtime period being required to separate those two. Be interesting to see if we get that between these two, the 9-0 Burners taking on the 7-2 Pride. And as you said as well, Tash, a young Pride team, a very small talent pool that they have to choose from. It's one of the smallest universities in BUCS organisation, just over around about 100 male members at the university, which when you're trying to put together a roster of around about 40 or so players, takes up quite a chunk of that.
Yeah, especially when you actually look at what you would prefer. So if you look at a proper setup for an American football team, you're actually more looking at about 50 players per team, which would be then half of the amount of players. This is a mixed team, so you can, the key thing is that you can have women played, but the thing is from my experience, so when I was playing Uniball, that is very rare, and I was at one point the only woman on my team.
Yeah, it is rather rare, but understandable as well when you see some of the physicality dished out. Definitely not saying that the women can't stand up to it either, Tash. You are very much a case in point that many can.
It's more the fact of, as you say, you see the physicality and it's, do I want to do that? And for me, I was like, I'm up to the challenge, but actually some people, it's just not for them, and that's okay.
Were you a goalkeeper by any chance when you played football at all?
I was not, which is surprising.
The Burners just giving that last war cry. They're going to have to bring that adrenaline down again, though. We've got the national anthem before kick-off and all the pomp and circumstance of a final. Far more calmer affair on the SGS Pride sideline. We will have the national anthem. ripple of applause after the anthem. And the next thing to take care of is the coin toss down on the field, as the captains will get to walk out. First chance to really try and show a bit of intimidation towards the opposition. As Phillips, the GB senior contingent of the SGS Pride, one of the captains, it looks like, who will be walking out into centre field. Aidan Coles played at the University of Toronto, the number 55 for the Burners. And that defensive end position, can also fill in at fullback, one of the leaders in the team, along with Cole McFarlane and Christian Zielinski as well. And Camara, the wideout, who we've touched on already, who needs just 88 yards to become the first ever 1,000-yard receiver in the Burners' history. Ashley Bailey, GB senior quarterback, wearing the number 8 for SGS Pride as well, out there at midfield.
I'm going to be your referee today. Kenny's going to be your umpire. This is the coin I'm going to be using for the coin toss. It handily says heads on one side, tails on the other, so there can be no confusion. SGS, you're as designated as this today, you get to call a toss. Tails is the call. It is heads. Okay. You want to take the ball correct? Which end are you going to kick from? Okay, swing round into your face and whoa. You're receiving this end, yeah? You wanted to kick?
Because I'm kicking this way, yeah?
Okay.
So they're over.
SGS will receive the opening kickoff.
SGS then will get the ball first. Time for that offence to go to work, an offence that put 26 points on Portsmouth last time out to book their spot in this game. 34 on Northumbria as well. It's been the defence that has been tested against Northumbria in that victory. 34-31. Not quite the finest of margins, but pretty close. But it stood up better on the road against Portsmouth last time out. Might be a different task against some of the talent, though, that the Burners have. Some of the North Americans that are dotted around that roster could make a huge impact, and it is something to be said about the impact of North American ball players at big positions as well at uni ball in Great Britain.
Yeah, we had a bit of a chat about this, about, as you say, just kind of those North American players coming over, and it's actually really useful having the experience of Americans on your team, because they really understand and know how to play the game, because they've been playing it for so much longer than a lot of the British players have. So it's useful for the wider team to really gain some of those skills, some of that knowledge from them. And it is actually helping British players progress, and I think that's what is positive about the inclusion. And I think what we've seen is more and more North American players coming over.
And we want to see the game get to as high a standard as possible here in Great Britain. Xavier Cabral de Almada is back to return for SGS Pride, with the opening kickoff to come from the boot of Adam Bailey.
Dark side on me, dark side on 3. 1, 2, 3, dark side!
Bailey, the former Bobcat, of course, I'm sure will have had a little eye on proceedings in our earlier game. But on Touchdown Tuesday, we get underway then in the Vase final. And it's not the start that SGS Pride would have necessarily wanted. Well picked up, though, by Cabral de Almada. And able to find a little bit of room over on the left side, and brought down around about the 27-yard line for the Pride to start their opening drive of the game.
It was well recovered, and in that situation, when you're receiving from a kickoff, you do not want to be jumping up and going up for that ball, because those pads do not give you any grace in the sense of being able to actually get a firm grasp onto that ball. So not necessarily the best start, but well recovered.
I think you could have just left it. Those pads don't give you any grace. It's very difficult to look graceful in shoulder pads and helmet And that's what some of these players will look to try and do. As Ashley Bailey comes out, then the quarterback for the Pride, take the first snap. Bright orange boots. It'll be easy to see as they just look to give the handoff. Oh, the ball's down on the deck as Bailey getting things all wrong in the possible handoff. Is that an early turnover as well? The Burners straight away, the defence onto the ball, and it's the worst possible start for the SGS Pride to kick things off here in the Vase final.
Yeah, definitely not the start they would have wanted. In that instance, it's showing maybe how much Brunel, why they've been so dominant this season. They clearly have the players. If you watch this, yeah, just unfortunately came out of the arms and it was jumped on instantly by Brunel.
Owen Montague, who we've seen actually in the past for the London Blitz in the Junior Bowl, was the MVP last time out in that competition in the London Blitz's victory, just getting all things undecided in the backfield with the handoff with Ashley Bailey. So the Burners offense comes out. Zielinski will just hand it off, and rumbling and stumbling forward is David Moore the third. Really powerful back, great after contact, and he keeps on going as well, keeps those legs moving. He's got a big old offensive line in front of him, and that's the perfect positive start that the big number 22 would have wanted.
Yeah, you expect that sort of running from an ex-Division 1 player, but that just shows the sort of players that Brunel are managing to recruit. It just shows the sort of players that Brunel are wanting to retain.
Yeah, out of Southern Utah, Div 1 football experience goes a long, long way here in Great Britain. Zielinski under centre. They give the handoff again to the tailback, trying to make a couple of bodies miss in the backfield as David Moore the third again looking to push forward. He's going to be stopped shy, though, of the touchdown just yet, but it almost feels like an inevitability already as the SGS Pride defence just continues to be forced backwards inch by inch down towards the goal line.
Well set up there by the Pride to ensure that they didn't get the touchdown in that down, but it feels inevitable at the moment with the kind of force that Brunel were pushing forward.
We go again. Big blockers in front of the running back as Moore the third stopped to the line initially, but rebuffed back only for a moment, in for the touchdown and a first score on the board for the Brunel Burners. It's a very positive start indeed on both sides of the ball. A takeaway on the opening play of the game after the fumbled handoff in the backfield for the Pride, and they capitalise straight away on the short yardage touchdown with the extra point to come.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
We've got a player down injured on the field as well for the Pride that will add injury to insult rather than insult to injury, but great powerful running that we're seeing from the tailback straight off the go.
It's that moment there where instantly it's that contact, it's the power, it's what you want from a running back, it's what you expect from a running back, and it's what we like to see. And I think we're going to be seeing that not just once today, but many times from David Moore III.
It'll be interesting because Christian Zielinski, I know, wants to get to his 2,000 yard mark coming into this one. 1,844 yards through the air so far this season for the Burners quarterback, and he's eyeing up that. We've also got the receiving yardage that Joao Kamara wants to find as well to put himself in the 1,000 yards receiving category this year. Keeping it on the deck might not really play into their hands, but with this wind bowling around Loughborough University campus right now, it's very difficult to see a possibility of a consistent aerial attack.
I think that if, for example, the wind continues, they'll just keep going to the ground running with the fact that they can see it works, and then maybe later on after a few touchdowns.
Adam Bailey out for the extra point. No good. Well, it's very small negative to take away on a very positive opening, 90 seconds of this final. And the opening touchdown of the game scored by David Moore III. 10 touchdowns on the year coming into this one. Number 11 is the first of a final that sees the SGS Pride behind very early on. Now it's the task of Benjamin Herod and his coaches on that sideline to try and revive and rally his team after what is very difficult when you suddenly find yourself taking steps backwards straight away and digging yourself into a hole early on.
There's enough experience on that sideline, though, to keep the players level and to ensure they know what they need to do to get back into this, because it's only one touchdown. They missed the extra point. All they need to do now is score a touchdown, score an extra point, and they're actually in the lead.
So simple, Tash.
I know.
So simple.
Easier said than done.
Kicked off by Bailey. This one is a slightly easier return for Cabral de Almada. And he finds some room up the centre of the field as well. Ball maybe came out again. And the Burners are trying to say they're on it once more. 2 turnovers in 3 touches of the football for SGS Pride. 1 offensive play, 2 kick returns, and 2 turnovers, culminating in a disastrous start right now for Benjamin Herod's team.
I think they'll be really disappointed with that one, because that was actually such a good return. If you watch here, bouncing off players, managing to keep his footing, and it's that little moment of as he's going down. Who was it? It was...
Great stripping it by Jaden Thompson. I think it was the
Yes,
linebacker who
yeah.
not only got it out but jumped on the fumble as well. He's had a couple of those already this season. Zielinski and the offense moving things around. Empty backfield, 5 wide receivers. Here comes the aerial threat. Here comes the pressure as well, flushing the quarterback and trying to go underneath, and brought in for what looks like a grab of maybe a couple of yards, and well played by David Moore III. He's happy to assist his quarterback.
Not only good in the run game, but good in the air too.
Going to call it a gain of around about 4 yards. 2nd and 6 coming up here for the Burners. Out of the gun this time for Zielinski. Fakes the handoff, flips it out to the far side where he gives it to João Camara, who is stuffed straight away after making the grab. Pickup of maybe a yard and a half on the play. Looks more like a 3rd and 5 and a bit, 3rd and 4 and a bit. No hurry up offense, nice and steady in terms of Christian Zielinski breaking them from the huddle. Made huge strides in his own personal game since being involved in the Senior League side of things here in Great Britain as well. As Zielinski faking the handoff again, though, feeling pressure, and this time brought down in the backfield. JJ Aboagai able to get hands on Christian Zielinski, and not many have done that this season. An important stop on 3rd down.
Berlin Rebels pro, truly showing what he can do, coming through and taking Zielinski down.
Denzel Boye as well caused all the commotion on the edge that opened up an easy lane for his fellow defensive lineman to break in and get a clean run on the quarterback. Punt unit out with Adam Bailey. 2 potential returners, including Xavier Cabral de Almada, who they are sticking with right now after a tough time to start this game. And that's where they go to the number 3, who misjudges it. Was there any touch on it as well? Looked like it was just about miss from the SGS returner. It's going to be ruled down despite the best efforts of Jamal Walker to try and pin the Pride back at almost their own goal line.
Yeah, really great kick. That's exactly what you want from a punt, is you want to be able to get them back as close to their goal line as possible. So if you can get into that backfield and get them down, that's the safety. If you watch it here, so close to actually blocking it as well from SGS. And does he get a touch? Ooh, I was thinking, are we going to be having deja vu of earlier?
Yeah, that's another one which Benjamin Herod was probably looking at with a real squint in his eyes, and not just because of the sun. Worried about whether there'd be any sort of contact on that. Ashley Bailey comes out, though, out of the gun, trying to get things right with his running back, Owen Montague. He keeps it this time, Bailey. He's going to be wriggling around trying to find any sort of space, able to dump it off to his wide out Josh Wilson. Doesn't quite get back to the line of scrimmage. Minimal loss on the play. Second down coming up. Great balance shown there by Bailey, considering he was going the wrong way and then backpedaling as he threw. It's a situation he won't necessarily want to put himself in too many times. They're going to rule it a loss of 3 on the play, so second and long coming up. Bailey moves Ethan Hunt in motion. Is it already mission impossible for SGS Pride as they go with the ground game this time? Minimal game pick up from Kasper Salik. Third and long. Gets at least some of the yardage back. But the Pride still have a lot to do to keep this drive going. Again, Hunt goes in motion just to the right side of the line. Bailey looking to keep it. Rolling out to the sideline and trying to angle it back up inside, but there's only yellow jerseys around him. You see what they were trying to do is line up a few blockers and have maybe that receiver coming inside to help control the edge just to the left of Bailey, but it all started to jam up straight away with that pressure from the Burners D-line.
Yeah, they can't seem to get any movement going. It's almost feeling like what happened at the start of the last game between the Rams and the Bobcats, where the Rams just couldn't seem to get anything going, kept getting pushed back, kept having those slight mistakes come in, and I think that's exactly what's happening right now for SGS, unfortunately.
And the punt unit out instead. It's Bailey to be the punter. It's not the best one that you'll see either. It bounces out well before midfield, and it's not going to be too much that the Burners have to do. In terms of to get another score on the board, I think they'll be lucky if that's even past the 40-yard line deemed by the officials. It looks like they stood at around about the 31. Yeah, one thing that has been mentioned by the Pride coming into this is that they're a team that don't necessarily have a lot of plays, but they have a lot of looks, and they rely on the pre-snap motion and changes in formation to try and disguise what they're doing as much as possible.
Yeah.
Do you think you feel almost slightly lacking arms, so to speak, if you're being shut down early on straight away?
Yeah, I think that's where the issue is they feel like because they're young, they're probably going to be quite a creative team. And that doesn't necessarily, if you're being shut down straight away, doesn't allow you that time to be creative.
Camara coming across in motion. They give the hand off to Moore the third, who's able to bounce away from 2 tackles and keep going out to that left sideline and still Herculeing his way forward and just pushed out of bounds. I mean, this is a man that seemingly once his motor gets going, he's very, very difficult to stop indeed. Let him start moving downhill at your peril. Superb pick up on the ground from David Moore the third. First and 10 for the Burners. They go back to the running back once more. The onslaught continues, but up the middle is a minimal gain of possibly 3. 3 yards a carry will do it though, Tash. That's what you were saying earlier. If you can average that.
It will, if you think about it, 4 downs, you need to make 10 yards. So as long as you're making 3 to 4 yards a carry, you will consistently be in with a chance of getting that first down.
They fake the handoff this time. Zielinski looking deep and overthrowing his man Cole McFarlane, who had a lane in front of him and green turf. Just overthrown slightly by the man that led his team to a victory last season, the Burners. Zielinski came in, has made an immediate impact, 21-0 record as a player. Hard to argue against that. Doesn't know that losing feeling too well.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's the quarterback that controls everything. It's why in the NFL the quarterback is the top paid player, because they are the one that controls the show. If you don't have a QB that can actually be a leader control, you're not going to actually have much success, and that's what Brunel have managed to find.
And about 3rd and 7. As I give the handoff for the ground game once again, Moore runs into huge pile of bodies. That's not going to be enough to pick up the 7. You can see the physicality and the contact really starting to go up though, however, as the SGS Pride defence is starting to come into their own a little bit more. Ollie Hanlon-Clark, one of those in there. Alex Gomez as well, just stuffing the pile nicely. They do have some big bodies down there on that line as well. JJ Aboagai we've already mentioned, but the man who lines up alongside him as well, Alex Gomez, is a difficult one to bring down, let alone difficult to stop bringing you down. Zielinski comes out. And they give the handoff once again. Moore trying to charge his way forward. This time he does find an extra step or two. Just about doing enough to pick up the fresh set of downs. 4 minutes to go already in this first quarter. It's been all through the number 22 of the Burners.
It would be great to see, as you've talked about already, with Christian Zielinski and what he can do, as well as some of the other weapons that they have on the offence. And it would be great to see some more of those players coming into the game. And hoping the wind stays away so we can see all of that excellence happen.
He's under centre once again. And they do go to the tailback, but it's a different tailback in Anton Prosperi. Certainly a player that Brunel have started to lean on a little bit more, just to give David Moore the third just that bit of a time on the sidelines just to refine his breath as much as anything else.
Similarly as to what we were highlighting earlier with the Rams defence needing that break to actually be able to recharge, you also need that as a running back. There's only so many times that you can keep running 'cause you're at full pace. So there's only so many times you can keep running at full pace and being hit and dragging players along with you before you need to actually take a breather.
Zielinski fakes the handoff again though. He's been rolled and grabbed and ramshackled around by JJ Aboagai. Superb work from the defensive lineman, who continues to find a couple of big plays in this first quarter just to keep the Burners offense on their toes. They can't rely on going to that passing game just yet, not with his presence on the D-line.
No, he's being clinical with every move that he's making. The moment that he sees Zielinski actually wanting to roll out and actually do something with it, he's making sure he can get free and push through.
A long, long way to go for the first down marker now. Zielinski takes the snap, pressure once again, but it's a way to set up the screen for Moore the third. Flags fly as Moore was brought down and a claim that it was a face mask according to the tailback, who is obviously agitated by that. You can understand why. He does well to almost remove himself from the situation.
Yeah, if we just watch this replay, Zielinski does a great job of being able to dunk it off to him, but then it's this part, and it was face cage.
Face mask. Defense number 22. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
Well, I thought it was Dan Cohen rather than Ahmed Mujicic, but whoever it's thrown on, it's very much the correct call. 15-yard face mark or automatic first down as well.
And that's disappointing from the Pride because they were actually stopping Brunel from getting that first down. And so if that flag hadn't been thrown, they would actually be punting right now or potentially going for a field goal.
But instead it's first down. They can still get 10 yards and get a fresh set of downs before getting in the end zone. Tailback surrounding Zielinski. Camera going in motion. And they give the hand off, and it's going to be snuffed out straight away in the backfield. Davide Pinto, the one on the carry. Matt Farston with some real ferocity, though, in the backfield by two of the Pride. Around about a 5-yard loss or so on the play. Spread formation for Zielinski. Again, it's good penetration up the middle and brought down once more. Ellis Phillips in on the tackle. No time to set his feet as the pocket collapsed in front of him. Great work, almost Brian Dawkins-esque, with Phillips just reaching out over the top with those rangy arms to bring down the Burners QB. That takes us down to the end of the first quarter. A first quarter that has seen the SGS Pride struggle on offense and barely have a touch of the ball really on offense, but the Brunel Burners have hardly been able to capitalise completely. Just 6 on the board for the side decked out in yellow. And a long 3rd and 20 coming up when we come back. Here is just a reminder that Touchdown Tuesday is brought to you in partnership with the Union Jack Classic coming up in September.
This is more than a game. It's tradition. It's families. It's generations. It's pure tribalism. It's excitement like you've never experienced. Wembley Stadium 2026. Big moments, big hits, big stakes. Kansas versus Arizona State. Reserve your seats today. Tickets going fast. UnionJackClassic.com.
The Union Jack Classic, a classic already. It's going to happen for a few more years as well after this September. And a chance for the taste of college football from the United States to come to the capital city. We've seen so much in terms of the positivity around the Aer Lingus event that takes place in Ireland every single year when college football comes across the pond to not quite these shores, but one step behind. And now looking to bring that to the capital city as well would be a fantastic event. I think it will be in September when we see it come. Remember, you can get tickets as well by scanning the QR code whenever we show that promotion, and the UnionJackClassic.com. In the meantime, 3rd and 20 required for the Burners, who come out empty backfield. Zielinski steps up into the pocket, throws to an open man down the centre, and it's the man we touched on before kickoff. João Camara continues to be one of the go-tos for Christian Zielinski, and he can add to his 900-plus yard tally on the season and add another touchdown to his own personal column. Another 6 points on the board for the Burners and an extra point to come. Third and 20, and the middle of the field deep, wide open for one of the deep threats in this ball game.
It's exactly what Zielinski hasn't been able to do so far, and that is get away from those rushing SGS defenders who have been coming at him. What he managed to do there is step to the side, get the ball off quickly, but it is that experience that he has in that sense of being able to also do a powerful throw. And they're going...
Point conversion trying to be attempted, but David Moore, the third stop before he can get into the end zone for the 2. So it's just another 6 on the board for the Burners. Sorry, Tash.
No.
Let's take a look at the touchdown once again.
Yeah, if we watch as the snap comes out, you can see those rushing players, and he just managed to step forward rather than holding his ground, which is what he's been doing previously. He's been having to scramble or roll out at other times, whereas this time he saw the space, stepped into it, and managed to get off a really powerful throw. Straight down the middle to Kamara. which is exactly what they needed, I think, going into this second quarter. It started feeling a little bit flat across the board. Of course, SGS Pride, their defence had been stepping up, but I think specifically for Brunel, they hadn't necessarily been pushing, and we hadn't necessarily seen that air game yet from them, which we know that they can do because of the stats that we've got here in front of us. So it was really impressive to actually see them. They've come out straight away in this second quarter and put a score straight up.
Yeah, it'll be a confidence boost for Zielinski, who's been taking a bit of a peppering when he's dropped back in that first quarter. But as you say, the first time he's been able to step up and avoid the rush that was coming off that edge from Gabriel Gearman. Now the mountain to climb just got a little higher. This one is going to go out of bounds, so we'll go back 5 yards and repeat the feat as we had quite often in our opening game here at Loughborough, as the wind continues to blow the ball across to that side of the field. And the kickers seem to be struggling with that. Some unfriendly bounces as well haven't helped matters too much.
Ball will be placed 30 yards from the spot of the kick. First down. Oh, bring it over. Oh, bring it over here.
So we will get set up for the SGS Pride. The ball at the 35-yard line. And there's no Ashley Bailey. Instead, they go with the direct snap. Just trying to keep it on the ground, almost out of the wildcat formation there, as the man who normally plays defensive back, Adam Deverill, coming in to take the snaps under centre, or at least out of the gun for the moment. You can see from our commentary position the form of Ashley Bailey waiting on the sideline, but they keep the number 25 Deverill in there, who gives the little pitch, and it's moved off to this outside edge, but again very little room to start making any progress down the sideline for Kasper Salik.
I think with Bailey having some of the punting duties and other duties alongside being a QB, you do sometimes need to make that switch, and if they do have a backup, which they clearly have got some plays up their sleeve which give them a bit of variation, is what's needed.
Well, it's trying that trickery with the minimal playbook, as again they go direct snap this time to the running back, and there's nowhere to go at the line of scrimmage, and fourth down coming up with 4th and 5 on the cards, and maybe getting too tricky for their own good there, as the ball in the hands of Ellis Phillips, not able to go any further than where they started from. Is it early to be going into the bag of tricks, Tash, or is this perhaps part of the game plan, so to speak, for Benjamin Herod, to keep it conventional maybe for the first quarter, try something different in the second and see what the reaction is from the Burners defence?
Yeah, I think it's seeing for Herod right now, I think what he's probably trying to do is working, as you say, with his OC, with his DC, just making sure that
whistles blown just before we get the snap off.
10 minutes, 2 seconds. 1-0-1-2. First charge timeout. Brunel.
Timeout called by Brunel. Just wonder if they were suspecting a fake punt from Ashley Bailey, the man who we've seen starting quarterback here for SGS Pride, but is also the punter as well. Does open things up if you've got a punter that can throw the ball quite nicely, but it's very early on. You're only down 12 at this point. We've got 10 minutes to go in the second quarter to be thinking about trickery like that.
Yeah, I don't think they need to be doing anything. As I was just saying, is they need to start working out what is clicking with the offense and what's clicking for the defense. The defensive click straight away, so don't necessarily need to worry about that, but with the offense in particular, I do think they're going to try multiple things to see what works, because actually what we saw happen in the first game with the Rams and the Bobcats was suddenly something started clicking for the Rams, and that was because they were trying out different things. The things that they decided then weren't going to work, they just pushed to the side. And so I think that's what the SGS Pride are trying to do early right now, is actually work out what is working so that they can continue.
Bailey takes the snap, punts it straight out of bounds, no chance for a return, but not much leg on the punt either. Past midfield this time. The Burners will start at their own 35-yard line. We've seen the ground game work. We finally see the air game come to life as well. It's a problem, shall we say, for the 4-3 base defence of the Pride, who like to play a lot of cover 4 over the top, which is great. It does expose you, though, to perhaps some of those mid-yardage routes that really Christian Zielinski, we've seen this season, can pretty much throw the ball at will where he wants.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what the Burners do now going forward with the fact that they're 12 up. I'd like to see more variation of plays so that you can actually really show the talent across the board and show what potentially they could do next year if they go up to National Prem.
Zielinski, oh, brought down with a big hit in the backfield. Again, multiple bodies coming in to disrupt things, but it's Jibril Krubali, I think it was, who got the final contact that sent Zielinski down to the deck. Just thought he was going to find that space that he was working so hard for, the Burners quarterback, but it rather came to an abrupt end.
Just seemed to be surrounded and didn't have any time at all to get anything away, which you want that protection, and his O-line really needs to be doing more to ensure that that heavy D-line is not coming through, because it is causing him a lot of problems.
And that's not the order of the day either on offense, as there's absolutely no chance of a gain on that one for David Moore the third. Third and long, and with the breeze continuing to pick up and gust every so often, they're going to have to perhaps look to the aerial attack once more. Three receivers right, bunched in the slot for Zielinski. Bring a man in motion across Elliot Daniel, the rookie, and then set up the screen to Moore the third. Not bad blockers initially, but just couldn't keep his footing as he tried to get away from that first tackle. Normally very good on the yards after catch, but nowhere near picking up the desired yardage on 3rd and 16 to keep the drive going, and the punt unit will come out.
Got a shout out to Cody Braithwaite though in that moment of being able to actually hold up David Moore the third there to try and keep him going in some way, shape or form.
Bailey on to kick. Again, it's not a great punt that goes pretty much straight out to play around midfield. Kicking game hasn't been great from either of these two in terms of setting up their defences with a little bit of extra yardage in field position, but it's another opportunity for the Pride to try and just chip away at this Burners defence. A defence that's lost some key members of their D-line from last season. And it's something that James Kelvin and his staff have been aware of. They've known it's not necessarily as prolific as it was a year ago, but they have still been able to plug in and fill in those gaps with more than adept candidates, and obviously led by Aidan Coles as well, one of the captains of this team, with his experience in North America. Massively helps as well. Bailey back coming out of the gun once again, the number 8 regular quarterback. Montague alongside him. And there's early movement on the offensive line. Finger pointing takes place, but Daniel Bielasanmi looked like he was the one to jump first.
Full start. Office number 73. 5-yard penalty.
Ewan Patterson confirming the false start. 5 yards backwards, the Pride go. be set up at their own 40-yard line. Empty backfield for Bailey, who might fancy the keeper here, and he does, and he finds a crease in that offensive line to get the yardage back and then some. Gets across midfield, an extra yard at that. Hard running from the quarterback. Kind of sensed straight away, though, as soon as it was an empty backfield, that Bailey was going to keep it in his hands, and he's going to make his way off the field for the moment.
Unfortunately, that's what happens when at the end of the play, if your helmet comes off, you need to make way and another player has to take your place.
So a spell on the sidelines for Bailey. Ewan Doig comes in. Give it to Montague, the MVP from the Under-19 Championship football last year, and he's snuffed out very quickly by Jarice Harris-Vidal. Man that fills in on both sides of the line, Harris-Vidal, man who's also been coming back from disastrous knee injury, missing a huge chunk of last season and getting the opportunity once again to play on the big stage as Bailey's back in, and he will keep it once more, looking off that right edge, diving inside. He's trying to force his way forward on 3rd and 5, and it looks like he's at least 1.5 yards short. Fourth and 2. Offense staying out. Time to garner some momentum, I suppose, for the Pride right now, midway through this second quarter. A big 4th down conversion would help.
Bailey did a great job of getting them down the field, and now, as you say, if they can convert this into a 1st down, that will really help them.
Timeout called by the Pride. It looks like their sideline. Maybe just mulling things over. Need something not from the darkest depths of the offensive handbook, but need to keep this drive going at least. 2 big yards to try and get for Bailey.
They just need to make something work. If you look at the one play that did work, it was Bailey on his own in the backfield, just going at it alone. Yes, of course, he had the blocks in place, but that's what's been missing so far, is the blocks in place for any form of other play to actually develop and happen. And that's what you need. You need plays to develop effectively, and if unfortunately you have one person that misses their block or doesn't do a route in the exact correct way or right way of what the quarterback is expecting, you can't expect anything to actually move forward, and I think that's what SGS has been missing.
Olashuga just behind Bailey as the running back, 2 receivers left, tight end and a receiver right. They give it to the formidable frame of one of their power backs who's trying to power his way forward, and well, this will be all decided by the spot of the officials. In the meantime, Ashley Bailey is picking himself up in the backfield after he took a shot after giving that handoff. He is back on his feet, as you can see there on the right side of your screen. And he's one of the first to point an arm out to say that this one should be going over for a fresh set of downs, but I think they're going to mark this one 1/2 inch short of what was required for the SGS Pride. Turnover on downs. Things just keep on cooking nicely for the Burners.
I'm quite surprised by that. I felt just from watching it, the reach went over and actually got the yards required, but I'm guessing that they're potentially saying there was contact on the ground before.
Yeah, I just wonder if that knee in all of those bodies, and credit to the Zebra crew if they can see it. We certainly can't from our commentary position here, that's for sure. It's just those sorts of decisions, the minor spot of the ball not going the Pride's way right now. Will continue to swing momentum firmly in Brunel's favour. Zielinski comes out. Tail back alongside him, looking instead for the big shot downfield, going for Kamara, who's wide open and completely overthrown by Zielinski. Although I think João Kamara lost it in the air as well, perhaps in the sunshine, because he seemed to be twisting and turning on the spot and just couldn't find it.
Yeah, what was a rather gloomy, breezy day has now turned into a sunny, breezy day, which will cause havoc, especially with those white helmets, because that glare and the sun shining off of that, you will easily lose the ball.
Oh, we need a microphone inside that huddle as Elliot Daniel and Kamara just have a word with each other. Eye black on, eye black certainly required. As the cloud comes over again, and I'm sure the number 14 for the Burners is wondering why wasn't that there just 30 seconds or so ago. 2nd and 10 then. Zielinski again faking the handoff, again trying to step back inside to get away from the rush, and again brought down in the backfield. Mujicic with the contact. That defense for the Pride is having some big stops behind the line of scrimmage. That's certainly slowing down the hopes of the Burners. Third and a long, long way to go. Loss of around about 9 on the play. Under centre once again. 2 receivers spread right. Tailback and fullback in as well in the backfield for Zielinski. They give it to the running back, David Moore III. Fighting a losing battle as he pulled down maybe 2 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage, but not much more than that. 4th down on the horizon.
We've seen it a couple of times where he's managed to evade. He did manage to get around the first 2, but the Pride have now caught on to that, and what they're starting to do is just go in as a gang, which is what you need to do. If you're going in 1s and 2s, that's not helpful, and it's not actually going to take the person down. When you've got somebody like David Moore III who will keep running over you until you are down and he is still going, you really need to actually be all going as a collective.
Instead, all going as the punt team onto the field for Adam Bailey to boot this one away. 2 back to return once again for the Pride. Oh, and it's a disastrous outcome on special teams as it's recovered by the Pride. Doesn't really matter too much anyway, because the Burners were going to be pinned all the way back there. Adam Deverill able to pick up the loose ball on a disastrous snap for the Burners, and things all going wrong suddenly, particularly on special teams for Adam Bailey and his unit. Again, if the Pride can just find something in terms of getting something on the scoreboard before the end of this 2nd quarter, changes the complexion, changes the motivation on the sideline, something positive, a ray of sunshine to take hold of right now.
Their defense are really keeping them in this game, but that's the problem, is their offense just don't have anything really to come back at Brunel with.
And they struggled in that first meeting when these two met, week 3 of the season, but only 6 points on Brunel in a 20-6 loss as Bailey comes out, looks to go to the screen, and just a quarterback struggling to find some rhythm right now.
Yeah, that week 3 loss that SGS had against Brunel, 20-6, they managed to, as you say, get points on the board. But it truly shows, I guess, how strong this Brunel side is.
De Silva and Salick alongside Bailey, who has to jump for the snap, not for the first time and maybe not the last time as well, as he's met in the backfield. Cole McFarlane, who we know is obviously a high caliber wide receiver, can play quarterback, can also play corner, linebacker, tight end. A bit like we've seen already, some of these utility players that excel in so many different situations can really come to the forefront in these finals. We saw it earlier, and McFarlane in on the tackle and in on the stop in the backfield. 3rd and 2 now for the Pride. Excuse me, 3rd and 12 for the Pride. Salick comes in alongside his quarterback and whistles before the snap.
2 minutes 56, 2:56. Second charge timeout, SGS.
SGS taking a timeout. Wanting to ponder over another really important play, really, in terms of you wouldn't fancy your kicker in this sort of win from many ranges. So it's about doing it through the air or on the ground in these next 2 plays to make up the 12 yards to keep the drive going. Or do you take a shot from this sort of range? But again, you're going to be throwing, particularly if you go across that left side of the field for the Pride, you throwing into the wind, you've really got to have a strong arm and be able to survive the wind and make sure the spiral's perfect.
Yeah, what we've been seeing as well from the kicks today, I mean, from punts alone, I wouldn't necessarily say that a kicking game is what you want to be doing today. These teams haven't necessarily shown that they have the strength in that particular field, so you do really want to be scoring touchdowns.
Snap this time better for Bailey. A bit more poise in the pocket as well, and dangerous pass to America da Silva. Dangerous indeed, sandwiched almost between two burners. And nearly got blown out of the equation.
I think where we saw Bailey aim that throw, I think he thought that da Silva was actually going to keep running. But unfortunately, to say that sandwich and the kind of surrounding of the Brunel players, Bailey did such a great job there of rolling out and managing to evade a couple of the Brunel players that were coming through. So it's quite disappointing they didn't get anything out of that.
So what do you do here on 4th and 12? Snap goes over the head of Bailey. He's going to have to get onto it and do something miraculous. He hits the deck instead, down around at the 40-yard line. Massive loss on the play. And a rather inauspicious end to a frustrating drive for the Pride on offense. It's not the first time that we've seen a bit of a high snap, particularly when Ashley Bailey's been coming out of the gun. He struggled with a couple of them and he's shown great ability. As we were talking about how difficult it is to get your hands up and deal with those sorts of situations when you've got the pads on. He's done really well on occasion, but that one just too high. Maybe a bit of sideline work needed between centre and quarterback just to get those snaps right.
Yeah, sometimes it's all about that connection, and if you haven't necessarily got that yet, that can actually cause you a lot of issues.
2:42 to go in the second quarter. Still a 12-0 ball game here. The Burners lead by. They give the handoff to the tailback David Moore III again. Flags fly as he's brought down to the ground. Gain of 2 on the play. Got a Pride player down on the field as well, which is certainly an unwanted problem both for the neutral and for the Pride and their side.
64, 10-yard penalty, replay first down. Official timeout.
I think that was a holding penalty that we were hearing about from Ewan Patterson there on Elias Benatu. Well, we joked earlier, Tash, that this could be a day for the purists and those that love the ground and pound. Was fairly tongue-in-cheek when I said it to you, but it seems to be the modus operandi right now.
Yeah, because when you look at what's happening with the Pride, they haven't been able to get any form of consistency going through the air, so they're really relying a lot of the time on Bailey just taking the ball alone and trying to do a bit of misdirection with some fakes, etc. And then with Brunel, they're really relying on David Moore the third. He's been their go-to guy, and really he's the one that's getting their yards, getting their first downs. Because Zielinski hasn't actually had the opportunity because of the Pride's D-line coming through and their linebackers coming through and just charging instantly. He hasn't had the time to actually step up and make any passes. The one that he did turned into a touchdown to Kamara, but other than that, we haven't really seen much other than, as you say, the run game, the proper on the ground.
And that's where they'll go again. Moore making men miss and finding room this time on the left sideline, who almost gets the 10 yards back that were lost on the holding call on the previous play. 2nd and 11 coming up. Great elusiveness shown there by David Moore III. That looked dead in the waters as he tried to break it off to his right side. And again, just patience being shown by the running back.
Smart.
You see it in the in the NFL quite a lot, some of these guys that will almost walk down to the line of scrimmage surveying to see where the blocks come. It wasn't quite that slow from David Moore III, but it's a similar ability just to read and react and just stay calm in a moment when there's carnage all around you.
Yeah, there are certain times when you want to come out all guns blazing and just head straight towards the line, and you see that sometimes, say in the NFL and other places where they need to make that quick movement and they have to go because the O-line will literally be getting off their marks and making that hole for you. But actually, if you have a play where you need to watch the play develop, you do need to almost do a stuttered run up and just give it time to actually see where your gap is, to know where if you need to then take that step outside, if you need to bounce out, if your gap isn't available, where are your blocks coming from.
Zielinski brought down again behind the line of scrimmage. Another sack for Ahmed Mujicic, who's having a bit of a day right now. That's at least twice he's got to Zielinski. This is a beating that the Burners quarterback isn't necessarily used to this season. Another big loss on the plate. 3rd and long up next for the Burners.
Yeah, he's done that twice now, so that's his 2nd sack of the game. But that's not the first player that we've seen break through and make that kind of sack. We've also seen JJ Aboyege. Like, you've got to sit there and go, what is happening to that O-line to allow that to happen?
Yeah, and it was JJ Aboyege that just cut off the chance to escape as well, as they'll keep it on the ground with David Moore III. But going back to that last sack, Ahmed Mujicic does well to get the pressure off the edge, but there's no ability then for Zielinski to step up into a pocket because there's that second defender coming up through the centre of the defensive line and just narrowing everything for Zielinski.
At 58 seconds, 5-8 seconds, 3rd and final charge timeout for SGS.
Another timeout for SGS that uses up the contingent of timeouts in this first half. 58 seconds to go in the second quarter, down by 12. A chance to get the ball back though before half-time. A chance to do something that they haven't done yet, and that's get points on the board and get a consistent drive moving on offense. But considering the struggles for Adam Bailey and the punt unit at times, it could be some favourable field position once again for the Pride. Better snap this time for Bailey. Ground kick. It's going to take a lot of favourable hops. I mean, that'll work out nicely in the end. Didn't look pretty. Down inside the 20 at the 17-yard line. It's a lot of field to go then in 46 seconds and no timeouts remaining for SGS to get something on the board before the break.
It's very interesting they used all their timeouts in that fashion when they're now receiving the ball, and it's either you, and the time's not stopping, the time is continuously going down, so now they have no opportunity to slow that clock down and potentially get a score on the board.
Yeah, it makes life very difficult indeed in terms of going not quite the full length of the field, but a very long part of it. Although they'll take anything right now in terms of just picking up some yardage, you imagine, and some confidence and momentum again for the offense going in at the break. Remember that the Pride started with the ball as well, so it'll be the Burners that will have it as they look to the screen pass out of the backfield to De Silva. He's stopped around about the line of scrimmage and will go no further than that. No gain on the play, maybe one. Bailey. Receiver stacked in the slot to his right. And Bailey will keep this one. Look for the run up the centre. But again, it's stuffed so quickly with those yellow jerseys. Adam Rice, one of those in on the tackle. 4 tackles for a loss and an interception in the regular season, the former UE Pirate. That will take us down to the end of the second quarter. Well, it hasn't all gone the Brunel Burners' way, but it's still looking very confident indeed for James Kelvin and his team. The SGS Pride have certainly puffed their chests out at times, and that defence has looked dominant every so often, but offensively struggling to get the ball moving. And thanks to touchdowns from David Moore III and João Camara, it is Brunel that have the lead at half-time, 12-0 over the SGS Pride. Touchdown Tuesday continues. We'll bring you the highlights from the first half in just a moment. But first, a reminder of the new partnership between BUCS Big Wednesday on Touchdown Tuesday and the Union Jack Classic coming up in September.
This is more than a game. It's tradition. It's families. It's generations. It's pure tribalism. It's excitement like you've never experienced. Wembley Stadium 2026. Big moments, big hits, big stakes. Kansas versus Arizona State. Reserve your seats today. Tickets going fast. UnionJackClassic.com.
UnionJackClassic.com. Scan the QR code. Get your tickets now for an event not to be missed at Wembley Stadium as the Sun Devils and the Jayhawks take on each other coming up in September. Let's have a look at the touchdowns from the first two quarters of half that has certainly gone the Brunel Burners' way, particularly on the scoreboard. They made it look easy after some real fallibility being shown by the SGS Pride to kickstart this game, and it really has been those early turnovers of the Pride that have cost them a plenty. David Moore III running that one in from close range after the Pride fumbled on their opening snap of the game on offense. There would be another mistake and fumble on the resulting kickoff after that would give the Burners the ball back, but that man, João Camara, connecting with Christian Zielinski, a combination that we've seen time and time again on the deep ball down the middle of the field. Frustrating for the Pride to give that up on 3rd and long down the centre. That is what separates these two sides at the half with a 12-0 scoreline. It's BUCS Big Wednesday coming up tomorrow with all the sporting goodness that you can handle. Let's just remind ourselves of what happened back on BUCS Big Wednesday in 2025.
Here we go, it's a dangerous show. Leave it all on the floor, let's roll. History's made by the bold and the brave, and the chances you take, let's roll. Everybody stand up, come together. Now it's time to let the whole world know. Here we come, up and ready to run, till the battle is won, let's go. Stomp your feet, shake the stands, make some noise, this is your chance. Bring the drum, get up and dance, this is your moment. Clap your hands, clap your hands. Clap your hands. Let's see you dance. Clap your hands. Stand up, come together. Make it loud, everyone in the crowd. Join in the sound, let's go. Stomp your feet. Shake the stands. Make some noise. This is your chance. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Man like Kenny in the summer, don't act like a bummer. Got him moving through the nighttime, and she's sour like a right line. And she mighty fine, so let's move it. And we get it two-stepping like we three-footed. Got me feeling like I'm in my new prime. Let's get it all right, all right. I just wanna have some fun, now I'm like a venom. Got me rocking out denim. Got her moving through the nighttime. Like it's the only one we gonna find. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight. Yeah. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight. Yeah. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight. Yeah. I just wanna have some fun. Have some fun. Have some fun tonight. But now I'll rise above you.
They've done it again, and they've done it in style.
I would trade my life just to be at peace.
Finally, the brothers are the BUCS Super Rugby champions.
Welcome where it all began, Torino.
The United Kingdom will be looking to add to their total of 16 Winter Games medals, led out by Ethan Clark, biathlete Robin Monroe.
Over the next 10 days, we will celebrate the Magic 11 winter sports across the beautiful Piemonte region.
I declare the FISU World University Games Turin 2025 officially open.
Gonna rank 82.75, second place for Shaw and GB. Holly Smith from Great Britain into second place, 78.25.
Ends the match and puts it out of reach for Germany. And so Great Britain become the first ever World University Games mixed doubles champion.
You will never forget about Torino 2025, the greatest edition ever.
This is more than a game. It's tradition. It's families. It's generations. It's pure tribalism. It's excitement like you've never experienced. Wembley Stadium 2026. Big moments, big hits, big stakes. Kansas versus Arizona State. Reserve your seats today. Tickets going fast. UnionJackClassic.com.
onto the field in the second half of our BUCS American Football Vase final. Will begin momentarily. 7.2 activity, but 2 glasses in. Process was natural choices. You move to a question joining us is BUCS Wednesday 2026. You head over to the stand zone on 3 and tomorrow takes a personalised BUCS Vase sorts of exclusive merchandise. And Football America is our recommended sport equipment supplier. The BUCS American Football Programme are committed to providing
I was expecting it to be over my shoulder. Take off the glasses.
And finally, our headline sponsor for today's touchdown Tuesday is Union Jack. So we're going to of course just get exclusive access to special 60 prices. First ever Union Jack takes place at Wembley on Saturday, 19th of September. Featuring huge showdowns in schools, Brunel 12, right now by licensing Union Jack tickets. I can see you there for watching fantastic day of college football in the United Kingdom. So second half momentarily underway with Brunel 12 SGS 0 as we begin.
Welcome back to Loughborough University. 2 quarters in the books and 2 to go in the Vase final here on Touchdown Tuesday, part of the BUCS Big Wednesday here at Loughborough. All of today's action powered by the Union Jack Classic Partnership as college football gets set to come to London in 2026. Stay tuned for all the information that you need on getting tickets for that. The Brunel Burners may have just booked their ticket to get in their hands on the Vase here as the first half has been very much in their favour over the SGS Pride, a 12-0 lead that Brunel have over their opposition, thanks to touchdowns on the ground and through the air from David Moore III, the running back, and the grab from João Kamara connecting with Christian Zielinski has been the case all year. The SGS Pride need to find something to kick-start this second half. Unfortunately, they're going to have to try and slow down the Burners offence once again, which they have done rather successfully throughout the latter part of the half.
Yeah, the big thing with what SGS, where they have been strong, is their defence and that defensive line and linebacker unit really coming together to stop Zielinski being able to get anything off, but it hasn't necessarily stopped David Moore III. So I think that's what they need to work on now, is just getting that stop in.
Kickoff is going to be collected by Kamara around about his own 20-yard line, and Had a few blocks in front of him before they quickly prevented it from developing any more than a minimal gain of about 5 to 10 on the return. And the Burners offense come out. We've seen a lot of gains on the ground through David Moore III. We've seen struggles to get set up for Christian Zielinski. When he has been able to stand poised in that pocket, it's looked fine and kind of like everyday routine that you expect to see from him. It's just that hasn't happened too often, particularly due to the pressure from Ahmed Mujicic and that defensive line. Will they keep their feet on the ground in the start of this third quarter then? And more importantly, the ball on the ground as well. Zielinski coming out of the gun, sends a receiver, Kamara in motion to the right side. And then they give the handoff to Moore III. And he takes an absolute shot as he got out towards that right sideline. Flags down on the field, in the centre of the field, back towards the line of scrimmage. But hard running from David Moore III, but also really hard to find any sort of real estate, bouncing it left to right.
Yeah, if we watch this replay here, what they do really well is the Kamara, who's in motion, actually comes out as that blocker, and it's a similar play actually to what earlier the Bobcats and the Rams both had success in, bringing players out, creating that path to allow your runner to go straight up the sideline. But as we saw, some big hits there from the Pride, stopping David Moore III in his tracks.
Able to cover the initial contact. It's a holding call that moves the offense back 10 yards and sets up a 1st and 20 then instead.
And that's not the first holding call that we've seen from the Burners, is it?
No, the offense struggling just with the fundamentals as well as the air attack. Zielinski will go quick to Camaro, who just finds 2 defenders in front of him, makes them both miss with some beautiful fancy footwork and the spin move to boot. Putting on a show, João Camara. Well, he's a phenomenal open field runner. There wasn't much open field around him, but he certainly made it start to come his way with some silky moves. You need the Chris Berman whoop for every single one of these missed tackles. That's one for the highlight reel. I know some of the NFL Academy coaches that are, of course, based here at Loughborough University have been walking around the pitch and around the sidelines, and someone should take note of that. They've all got contacts, a lot of the Academy coaches elsewhere around the globe, and there's so much potential for so many of these players. As Zielinski able to connect once again, this time with Elliot Daniel. As he looks to his right once more, just opening up neatly and finding the wide out for a quick connection. The rookie and former SGS Pride man getting a catch against his old team.
Yeah, and he's had quite a successful season, so it's great to see him finally come into the game, getting a catch on the board and moving the Burners up the field.
Calling it 3rd and short though, not quite enough for the 1st down just yet. Had to work hard to keep these chains moving, or even have the chance to after putting themselves 10 yards back. It's just going to be the QB keeper from Zielinski. He's going to keep it all the way to midfield. No real tush-push, just a classic QB sneak. Certainly catching the SGS Pride defensive line off guard slightly.
It's something you should actually expect in that situation. If you've only got a yard to gain, why are you going to do a fancy play when actually if you've got a quarterback and you've got a line that you depend upon, or at least blockers that you can depend upon to get you through, QB sneak all the way.
9 rushing TDs on the year for Christian Zielinski. He says he's a dual threat quarterback, although I am told that a large number of those 9 touchdowns have actually come from very short yardage, much like that, but at least showing that combined with his offensive line that he's able to use his blockers to great effect and pick up sizable gains to reset the chains at midfield. Early touchdown in this 3rd quarter could be a real killer blow for the Pride. Zielinski able to stand in the pocket, throwing one up to his favourite receiver, who got his Hands almost around it. It ricocheted off the chest. Close coverage from Xavier Cabral de Almada. Just can't be brought in by João Camara.
I can definitely see them going for that one again in a future play, because that's so nearly worked. Watch this. It's just as he goes to grab the ball, just dives backwards and it bounces off.
Huge amount of air on that. Still quite rainbowy, the pass from Zielinski, but he dropped it into a perfect space that only his receiver could get to it. 2nd and 10 then for the Burners around midfield, sending a man in motion, then just handing it off to the tailback, Davide Pinto. Pinto forced backwards as the Prize defensive line stands firm again. They are quick to fly to the ball. We discussed how it's a young team, a lot of 18, 19-year-olds in the Pride setup. But they're fast and they do ball hawk so many of them on that defense.
We were just talking about this. When you think about senior ball, the average age of your senior ball team, it's a lot higher than 18, 19, and so some of these guys, they're coming in and they will be playing senior ball at some point, but they'll be utilised in those speed positions because that's what they can bring. They can bring speed because they've got athleticism, they've got energy.
Practically old men in senior ball compared to some of these SGS Pride. No offence to those in the senior ball level. 3rd down coming up and a long way to go. 16 yards required. Zielinski might have to make something happen on his own here. He's able to get back towards the initial marker, but forced out of bounds once again, and a bit of contact to boot coming in from Jibril Krubali.
Krubali did a great job there to sprint across the field and make sure that the first down wasn't gained.
Bit of time in the Canadian Junior Football League for Krubali. GB men's player as well now. Very useful asset indeed. An SGS Pride setup that has had multiple players go and play college football in the United States. We've even had players go on to win the Grey Cup in the CFL as well. Take great pride, no pun intended, in those that have come through the ranks and gone on to bigger and better things. And the punt unit out on 4th and long here for the Burners. And that one's going to be downed at the 21-yard line. Another difficult position really for the Pride on offense, on an offense that struggled. It'd be interesting to know what changes are going to be made from Benjamin Herod and his coaching staff just about how this offense goes about their work, but they've done the hard part to start this 3rd quarter and making sure that the Burners don't add to their 12-0 advantage. 7:44 to go in the 3rd, and the Pride get their first chance on offense here in this 2nd half. And Ashley Bailey back in once again. Darian Banton, the big tight end in the wide out position to Bailey's right. He's going to give the handoff instead straight up the middle to the tailback. Pretty decent gain of around about 6-7 yards on the play. Hamid Olashuga, the one who got the carry and went rumbling forward, the tailback. Just wonder if that's the way to go. They tried that wildcat and with some of the smaller players and trying to be fast and nippy with changes in the backfield, and instead just maybe trying to wear down this Burners defense and start pounding stuff down their throat. De Silva, they fake the handoff to him, look for the receiver's screen, broken up quickly. Josh Wilson didn't fancy getting his hands on it. Third down and around about 4 yards needed here to keep the drive going for the Pride. Hunt comes in motion to the right side of the line. They said another receiver back the other way. QB keeper instead though for the number 8. Diving forward and picking up the required yardage is Bailey.
Much better there from SGS Pride when we look at the kind of, we were talking about their creativity and in the first 2 quarters where they just trialling things to see what would work, and we were expecting to see some of these tricky plays where you bring a player in motion and then you then start with then the jet sweep across, so that there's some, you're trying to then get the defence actually off their game because they're trying to then adjust and move as to where they need to go. So I think it's been great from the Pride as to what they actually just managed to bring in, and hopefully we can see this more going forward.
Tailbacks either side of Bailey, fakes the handoff, fakes the throw as well on the screen and tries to keep it once again. Maybe just doing a little too much on his own there, the quarterback, as he's brought down. Cole McFarlane in on the tackle.
Running backs.
Just after we thought momentum was going in their favour after a great play, unfortunately couldn't be continued, but can they make some positive yardage here?
2nd and 11, still inside their own territory. Bailey takes the handoff, gives the handoff to Olusoga, who keeps again those legs driving forward. He's maybe 3.5 yards shy of the first down marker. That's a pretty decent gain from the tailback, who's finding some progress early on in the third with 5:40 to go.
It's quite surprising they're only just bringing out Olusoga now, because we've seen a few of their, I guess, speedier players coming in, but actually Olusoga's been the running back that they need right now to get through that Brunel defence.
Everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. Isn't that what Mike Tyson said? Movement though from the tailback early, as Olusoga has done well to put them in a position that 3rd and 4 was potentially manageable. I think he's going to march them back another 5 yards. Third and long. 9 yards needed. Empty backfield for Bailey. He's going to try and get it all himself. Doesn't do a bad job picking up maybe 5 of those yards, but he's not going to get enough to get the first down. I haven't seen the aerial attack very often from Ashley Bailey in this offense that SGS Pride need to get moving if they're to find a way back into this game as the punt unit comes out. Not really seen many deep shots down the field. Every pass has been short to mid-range at best. There's the chance for the fake. Remember, they need about 4 if they fancy it. Bailey's going to take the snap, and he is going to keep it. And he's going to try and do it all on his own again, but he's going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage. Well read once more by Cole McFarlane. Flags fly in the meantime. We'll wait to see the call. This could be big in terms of keeping the drive alive for the Pride. Well, it's a turnover on downs. The failed attempt from Bailey. Superb once again on the tackle from Cole McFarlane. And the Burners take over now on the right side of midfield, the 44-yard line. Spread offense as the wind continues to whip around Loughborough campus. Zielinski going to go looking to the air. He's going to dump it off on the screen to Moore the third. And again, super moves as the skilled players are starting to strut their stuff here for the Burners. Confidence emanating out of the likes of Moore the third and Kamara. Stop shy of the 20-yard line, but it's a first down. And it's a wonderful solo run after the catch from the tailback.
I think this just shows the importance of tackling and making sure that you hold somebody down, because even if you can't contain them, just slowing them down. And that's not, unfortunately, SGS just didn't do that. When you actually look at the way that they were tackling, trying to get David Moore III down in that play, it was actually more about using their shoulders and just trying to let him bounce off. But that's what he wants you to do, because then he can just easily get a turn off and go up the field some more.
Two running backs alongside Zielinski this time. They give the handoff. It's a short gain for the former Southern Utah man. But importantly, is a gain. It is falling forward. A pickup of around about 4. Pride really need a stop at this point. Tailbacks either side of Zielinski once again. Looking to throw, finds his intended target, Daniel. Another gain that brings up 3rd and 1. He's not just locking in Zielinski in this third quarter right now on Kamara, he's using others. Neat work out of the running back position just in the passing game from Moore III, Daniel as well. Trying not to make this offense one-sided. More importantly, he's having a bit more time as well. There's a change at quarterback here as McFarlane's going to take the snap. McFarlane's going to keep it and bounce it off the left side, and he's got a room as well, and he's going to waltz into the end zone for the touchdown. A man that is doing it all right now, Cole McFarlane, on both sides of the ball. And the QB keeper out of the Wildcat. Super simple, with an edge set to the left and speed to burn down the sideline. Another 6 points on the board, the extra point to come. And someone's making themselves a case for MVP.
Yeah, up until this point, it's been all about David Moore III. And yes, David Moore III got some great blocks there, but actually, Cole McFarlane, it was all about Cole McFarlane in that moment. And just looking at the stats that he's had, he's played with Zielinski at Chapman U. When you also then look at the different positions that he can play QB, he can play tight end, he can play linebacker. But for this team in particular, he's been noted down as their wide receiver and their cornerback.
And again, he keeps it and looks for the same result as well on the 2-point conversion, diving forwards for it, and they're going to give it to him as well. Another 2 to add insult to injury. McFarlane's case gets ever stronger. And it's a 20-0 lead now that the Burners have, and it's a lot of breathing room against a Pride offense that just hasn't got going yet against this formidable defense. Rice smile as well from the number 12, and he's got reason to smile on this. You got to love that as a coach, surely, Tash, the patience just to sit in behind his lead blocker and wait.
It was that little tug on the shirt to be like, I'm here, keep doing your job. Thing with SGS Pride is they should be taking away some positives from this. 2 minutes left of this quarter, still a whole nother quarter, and their defence have actually been making plays. Maybe not as many as what they did in the first half, but if they can find that rhythm again, their defence should be able to do something.
Might take a big play on defence to try and get them back into this game. There'll certainly be a look once again to Ashley Bailey and the offence to try and move this ball at least past the 50-yard line. So the kickoff comes via the boot of Adam Bailey, and there are those looking to pounce on it in yellow. Well collected, however, by the tailback in on the hands team. Olushoga able to find a little bit of calm and clarity as it's threatening to boil over a little bit there, as Shaq Braithwaite just having a little tussle at the end of that with Jibril Krubali. again, it's a game that's slowly just building a bit more of an edge to it as well. It's certainly providing more entertainment for more of the fans that are starting to gather around this playing surface, not just for the game to come tonight, but very much taking in the show that's on offer right now, and a show that's being put on by the Brunel Burners and being masterminded really by David Moore III on offence and Christian Zielinski. It's time for Ashley Bailey to join the parade of stars that are starting to light this game up. Brings a man in motion in Hunt. Gives the hand off to his running back. Again, they look to the power back just to start pushing forward. Big hit, however, Olusoga leaving the ground and maybe regretting that fact as he went into the pile and came down rather quickly.
Yeah, but once again, a great run, straight up the middle, showing speed, showing power, but showing why he should be the go-to running back for this game, for this particular scenario.
I like to see a lot of teams have this kind of committee of running backs, but sometimes you need that bell cow that's just going to grind out some hard yards to get you going. Decent gain of 6 on the play. The screen pass falls incomplete fortuitously as Olusoga has it come off the helmet. Flags on the field as well. Horrible feeling as a running back when you have to turn your way away from the tacklers to go and collect the ball, especially with your arms upraised, feeling exposed, like Olusoga, I'm sure, felt in that moment. And then prepare yourself after bringing it under control.
The ball was first touched behind the line scrimmage. Third down.
Third down and around about 4 yards required. Olusoga just behind Bailey. There's an early jump as well. This might be a free hit. Bailey's just going to hit the screen out to the right. Wilson trying to work his way forward. He's done really well to cut all the way across that line and get down, and more importantly, get the 5 yards required. I've said Josh Wilson's name too much today, but that's a way to certainly catch the attention. Flag on the play.
Offside. Defence. That penalty is declined. So the plays, first down.
Yeah, and we saw the jump very early on, very quickly there from the Burners defensive line, which certainly meant that there was a chance maybe to take the free hit and go long if Ashley Bailey wanted to. Everybody almost stood still, not really sure whether they wanted to continue with what they were doing or just start running streaks down the field. But it is a first down for SGS Pride. .48-yard line. Bailey takes the snap and rolls left. Now has to try and check back. There's nowhere to check to as he's forced out onto that sideline. Firm but fair Aidan Coles with the handling. Loss of a couple on the plate. De Silva just sits in that tight end position. Bailey takes the snap, gives the hand of Olusoga. Hard running once more from the big number 40, who's difficult to slow down once he gets going. You said it a few times now, Tash, keep giving this man the ball.
It's not only keep giving this man the ball, what the O-line did for him right there was what we've been needing from this offense the whole way through this game, which is make your blocks, make those gaps to allow, because they clearly want to rely on the running game. They don't necessarily have a passing game at the moment that's flowing. So if you've got a running game that's working in Olusoga, like, give him the ball, but also give him the opportunity to actually utilise that ball. You can't just expect him consistently to keep trying to make something out of nothing.
That might be one of the strongest flexes from Shaq Braithwaite there, just cooling off the biceps. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's the confidence that's showing from the Brunel Burners right now. They lead 20-0. We go into the fourth quarter. And we remind ourselves as well of the brand new partnership that brings you Touchdown Tuesday, powered by the Union Jack Classic.
Wembley 2026. This is American college football. You don't want to miss out. Scan the QR code now or go to unionjackclassic.com.
Premium seats available. You want to see every single seat in the house at Wembley Stadium filled up for that one, that's for sure. I imagine there's going to be a fair few of the American contingent coming over for that. Plenty of the boosters will fancy a trip to London for the fashion, the fun, the pubs, and a bit of NCAA ball as well. All taking place coming up at Wembley Stadium on the 19th of September. Remember to scan the QR code and book your seats while watching the last quarter of the Vase final. And the Pride have got a lot to do to get back into this one on the scoreboard, but they're finding some joy offensively finally. And first and 10 coming up here for Bailey, who throws down the middle, and it was a shot to America de Silva, who got his hands onto it but knew that was coming as well. I think was more prepared for the contact than the catch. And that's one of those ones when the receiver goes back to the huddle and maybe just says to Ashley Bailey, don't give me that one next time. One to shake off in the morning. 2nd and 10 here for the Pride. Olashogu. This time brought down, and once again it's Cole McFarlane. Absolutely everywhere, like just a mosquito stinging the Pride time and time again on both sides of the ball. Third and long now for SGS to try and keep this drive alive. 33 yards needed for a score. 10 yards needed to keep it going. Olashogu just behind Bailey. They fake the handoff to him. Plenty of time now for Bailey, who was dictating traffic back there before finding his man. Comfortable pitch and catch. Christopher Brown in to make the grab. Just found his pocket of space and waited for his QB to deliver. That's a nice pickup on 3rd and long.
And after we'd just been saying that they haven't really been able to find much through the air, this play right here is where they start it going. And as you say, Bailey had so much time and he hasn't had that previously, and it was great to see Christopher Brown finally coming in and some of the wide receivers being able to actually be seen within this game.
Little pitch forward by Bailey, who's trying to say that he was maybe caught with the face mask or at least hit late, as he gave the pitch toss forward to Kasper Salik. Just going back to that last play, the amount of time that Ashley Bailey had back there. Worked with somebody who once described it as he's got so much time he's cooking a pizza back there. When it sounds a bit offhand, but you completely understand what they mean as soon as you hear it. Just stand, wait, mess around with the dough, stick it in the flames, and then still find his wide out. Loss of 1 on the play in the meantime after the big gain on 3rd down. 2nd and 11. Olashogu trying to get them back into positive yardage on this set of downs, and does that. Small pickup on the ground, but they continue to blunder forward with him. I say blunder because once you start getting hit and boshed around, you don't really know where you're going. You're just stumbling and falling and hoping you can get that big frame falling forward, and credit to him again for keeping those legs going. 3rd down, 9 yards needed. Another big 3rd and long play for the Pride. Bailey feeling pressure coming off the edge and wrapped up immediately. Joshua Falade shot out of a cannon to get into the backfield. And I don't know how much Bailey really ever saw it coming.
Yeah, as you watch him, he's doing his reads, but there's two of them on him instantly. And when you see that flash of yellow coming towards you, you know you've got no hope, especially when they're coming at you from either side.
Worried about Coles in front of him. Worried about Falade coming off the edge on the other side.
8 minutes 52.
Bailey there just taking a second. He took his helmet off and just had a moment on the field to himself. You can sense the frustration, and you can sense that he's not quite happy with how this game is going, but also the opportunity that he's being given.
Yeah, timeout called on the field, a moment's rest maybe, and fourth and around about 17 required to keep things going for the Pride. Maybe worth a shot from distance. Take what you can get at this point. Unlikely to see the run game, however, coming up here, Tash, because with 8:52 to go, they need a score. It needs to come sooner rather than later, particularly with what we've seen from the Burners in this second half so far. That offense has been far more productive.
Yeah, they really need to find a way to, even if it's just get the first down, because then you get another set of downs. If you can't do it on this go, at least it's going to be a task, because you've got about 20 yards to actually make it to that first down. But we've seen Bailey being given time. We saw that one play where so close to getting it down and in for a touchdown. So that's what we need to see now, is unless they're going to go for a punt or the fake punt.
Bailey comes out then, empty backfield. Have to go for it, and they will. And again, pressure's forthcoming. Bailey scampering around, hoping somebody gets open. He's got receivers calling for it, and there was that space as well in the centre of the field as it's thrown into the ground. Christopher Brown, the one who was asking for it to be delivered from his quarterback, but incomplete and turnover on downs.
I think that just tells the story of today. There was an opportunity, but unfortunately it just didn't come to fruition for SGS Pride, because actually there were receivers who were open. It was just that there was so much pressure that Bailey was under from the Brunel defence, that in that situation as a QB, there's only so many times you can keep your cool, keep your head, and actually get off good passes when you can just see them luring down on you, about to take you out.
Trying to get that senior connection going from the GB team with Bailey and Christopher Brown, who's a Scottish Tartans pro, of course, and dive up the inside in the meantime by David Moore III. Just gets the Burners offense rumbling forward, and we might be playing the time game as well with the ball on the ground with the tailback, who's had a good day. He's had a pretty great day, to be honest, including the opening touchdown of the game from short range. Solid pickup of 5 yards on the opening play of the drive. Ball just behind the 30-yard line. Under centre from the quarterback, Zielinski. Pressure shown off the edge by SGS. They give the handoff to the tailback. Again, trying to find a almost unseen route through the bodies. Third and about 3. Time ticking away rather pleasantly as well for James Kelvin on that sideline. Handoff again, this time shut down in the backfield though. Jack Hung, I think it was, who was playing on the defensive side of the ball and was able to get there. Was it Denzel Boye who was getting off the edge and stuffing that one up in the backfield, but no room for David Moore III. Either way, fourth down, stop in the backfield, and very much another positive for the SGS defence. Bailey on the punt, 2 back to return. Oh, and that's certainly not the best punt in the world. Oh, and there's some afters as well, just in the backfield as physical contest once again breaking out. Krubali in the thick of things once more. It's a near perfect outcome though for SGS, an absolutely disastrous kick from Adam Bailey.
I'm quite surprised though with that late hit that nothing was thrown. Just from what Krubali, what we just witnessed.
It's interesting. It's a bit like the old line from the American football movie The Blind Side. What are you going to call him for? Unnecessary blocking. I mean, it was just a block continuing after the whistle, but it did continue for far too long. As the Burners continue to study tape down there on the field. So many coaches as well on that coaching staff, at least 2 for every position apparently, as they try to slow down Olusoga. He's able to fall forward for a pickup of around about 2. Inside 6 minutes now in the 4th quarter. Hurry up mode engaged by the Pride. Bailey gives the hand off. Again, there's another good crease up the centre of the field, this time for Salik.
Yeah, SGS Pride have been doing a great job of rotating their players to keep fresh legs in, which has actually proven joyful on this occasion because it's helping them get up the field.
Again, that pre-snap motion that we heard about before coming into today that they like to use. It's another good surging run as well from the tailback. Respite and a breather, however, for Olusoga, who's taken out. And it's Montague, the star of the Under-19 Championship game, who gets another carry. Just got a player down on the field for the moment. And there's a 4th and 1 on the horizon for SGS. And the medical crew eventually starting to come out onto the field and check on the player that's down. Well, anything can happen in football, Tash. It's never over until the proverbial fat lady starts to sing.
Anything can happen. I think in terms of the time and how these games are being played, I don't necessarily think there's enough time for SGS to get the amount of scores with, especially with the momentum and the positive progression that we've seen from them. I don't think there's been enough for them to get the amount of touchdowns that's needed to win. However, what I do think that they could be able to do is at least get a score on the board, especially in this position, because I was about to say the wind's gone down, but in certain places it looks like the wind's gone down. I turn to my right and I see those flags and I say, actually no, the wind hasn't gone down, because I was going to say, could this be an opportunity for them to try and go for a field goal if they can get close enough? But I think what they need to do here is just try and get that next set of downs, get to try and get into the red zone, and then we'll see what they can do and hope they can get at least a score on the board.
Sam Reynolds sat up on the field now, was the down player for the Burners. How about the old Doug Flutie drop goal as well we could bring out if you're looking to get points on the board. Not been seen for a long time, that.
Whether they actually know that exists.
Probably a fair few that don't remember it down there, that's for sure. Very much starting to show my age.
For talking about SGS pride, definitely not.
Thumbs up as well from the big number 49 defensive end. Fourth-year man, walk off the field. Gets a pat on the back as well from the coaching staff. And has been deemed the spot enough for a fresh set of downs for SGS, so they can keep things rolling here. Olusoga back as the tailback once again. No motion this time, and it's keep it simple. He runs right into a wall of trouble. Khalib Webb, the first in on the contact, the free safety, who did a really good job actually of man from the secondary holding up the big bolstery running back.
I remember in the earlier game I mentioned about those adjustments and how you can't always just go running straight up the pitch. You have to sometimes let things develop to see if you do actually have the routes and the gaps available. And in that situation, Olusoga just had nowhere to go physically because nobody was holding their blocks.
Loss of 4 on the play, which forces the deep shot downfield. There's a lot of contact as well between receiver and corner. Josh Wilson, the intended target. Nigel Mbitha in on the coverage, and I think that's going to be against the corner. The club president may have just let the club down there in a moment.
Defense number 19, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
15-yard penalty and an automatic first down for SGS that keep the Pride moving forward. Seemed like there was contact between both in that moment, Tash.
It did. It looked like there was contact between both, but when you actually replay that, it's again like what happened in our last match where the DB wasn't necessarily looking for the ball.
Deverell coming out as the quarterback once again out of the gun, as we've seen a couple of times, as SGS go back to perhaps some of the more tricky stuff, and he's able to rock his way forward down inside the 5-yard line.
Second down coming up for SGS.
Once more, Ashley Bailey just has to take a seat on the sideline here, down inside the red zone. Kept again by Deverell. And he stopped short of the line, and again there's extra pushing and shoving and extracurricular activities afterwards. Ryan Foster Woodhouse, the offensive lineman, I think is going to get penalised here for the added contact on Adam Rice.
And sometimes at this level, you think about university, they're quite young, they're starting off their sports career. Sometimes they don't have that discipline, and that's what eventually will get taught to them as they move through this game.
After the play was over, and sportsmanlike conduct, offense number 52, their first of the game. Down counts, 15-yard penalty, third down.
So third down, an extra 15 yards tacked on after 15 yards were given. 15 yards take us away.
And that is so disappointing because they were so close to actually getting down there. We've been saying about this, haven't we? We just want to see them get a score on the board, and that was their opportunity, and it's just been thrown away, potentially, because we are in third down, and there's still a good 15 plus yards to go now.
Yeah, ball set up on the 17-yard line. 3:26 to go here in the fourth quarter of the Vase final.
Second choice timeout, SGS.
Timeout SGS as well to think things over. Maybe just deliberating how they think best is to try and get something on the board, to at least give them something to celebrate and smile about on what has been a hard graft of an afternoon so far against a Brunel Burners team that have taken to life in this division very well indeed. Even if it has caught some of them a little by surprise at how well they've been able to go about their season unbeaten. Of course, the other meeting we touched on, the victory they had over SGS earlier in the season, the other meeting in week 8 was actually postponed due to a waterlogged pitch, and there was just no time in the schedule to rearrange it, so they've all played one game fewer than they would have wanted to this season. And 3rd and long. Chance for SGS to try and get something in from around about 17, 18 yards away from the end zone. Bailey stands, looks, staying on his toes. He's got the short option available to him, or he can try and go for it all as well. Finds his man across the middle. Beautiful throw, but caught and brought down shy of the touchdown. Josh Wilson once again in on the grab as he continues to just come to the forefront a little more in the passing game. And he's only just shy, 2 yards in fact. Are you going to try and kick the points, or are you going to try and get the touchdown?
2 minutes 53, 2:53, 3rd and final, charge timeout, SGS.
Final timeout from SGS as we can take a look at the poise shown by Bailey.
Yeah, he did well. Look, nothing there. Has to scramble out and roll outside of the pocket. Lyman coming in, managed to evade that and then sees his man. So it was great by the receivers there to actually keep the movement going. Clearly it wasn't there. They all need to find that new positioning, and that was so well seen by Josh Wilson to find that gap where Bailey would then be able to get the pass off.
Connection and understanding between quarterback and wide receiver is so important anyway, but particularly in those moments when a play is breaking down, right? And you just need to make sure that you're keeping your eyes on your quarterback. Find those little areas that he can pick you out in. As once again they go to the Wildcat. Deverell comes in and he'll keep it, and he'll go up the centre once more. We wait for the call from the officials, and there's still no sign. Touchdown given eventually from the Zebra crew. SGS get on the board in the Vase final. Adam Deverell punching it forward through the bodies. And there is something to celebrate for the Pride, who will not be shut out on the big occasion.
Could this be a repeat of week 3? And could it finish 20-6?
Well, if we'd known that, we'd all gone home early and just chalked it up to what happened previously. They go for the 2-point conversion. And there's no space on the edge for Sam Griffiths. And again, flags fly towards the end. And again, it's Krubali who's walking away from the incident and starting to walk back to it as well, as it continues the chippiness between he and Adam Rice.
Result of the play, there's no score. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, SGS number 23, their first of the game, 15 yards on the kickoff.
Frustration boiling over perhaps, or just relishing the physical contact of the game. Either way, this is the touchdown again for SGS. Burying that head and surging forward, Adam Deverell. I dare to say it, but the grey clouds are just starting to loom over Loughborough as we push closer to the National Championship game coming up later on this evening. You can tune in 7 p.m. local time for that one. It's a combination of Touchdown Tuesday, brought to you in partnership with the Union Jack Classic. It's certainly one not to be missed. Durham against UWE, the rivalry continues from 2 years ago. Repeat of the 2024 final, and a chance for UWE to become the, as the Americans would say, most winningest team in uni ball history. Looking for a 6th title and 5 in a row. Durham out to stop them this evening. They're going to look for the onside kick here, SGS. And it's into the pile to try and retrieve it and see who's going to come away with it. Can't see any flags down there on the field, and it's just, oh, there is one just back actually at the 20-yard line or so. There's a couple of them. Blends in so well with the Burners jerseys, unfortunately.
Offside, receiving team. Offside, kicking team. Those fouls will offset. Replay the kick.
Offside on either side. And we'll go again. Unfortunately for SGS, they've lost the element of surprise slightly there.
I mean, it looks like they're still going for it.
You'd expect nothing less, and now you see the Burners special teams unit just coming in close, waiting for it. Little pooch into the space, but well plucked out of the air by Davide Pinto, the running back, part of the hands team, making sure that there are no errors this time.
Yeah, really great grab there. We talked earlier about the I guess the risk in jumping up and going for some of those, because they can sometimes just go straight through your hands if you don't have that confidence. But he really took that with confidence and managed to get a couple of extra yards as well.
SGS just with a player down on the sideline once again on the near side of your screen, which will mean just another delay slightly to proceedings. No timeouts remaining, no, for the Pride, with 2:38 to go in the fourth quarter. Just needs to be error-free football now, major error-free football really from the Burners for the last 2.5 minutes or so.
Yeah, if they can just keep the ball and just do similar to what Bournemouth did earlier, run the clock down, keep the time going, then they'll come away champions, as long as they, as you say, don't give up anything silly. I've seen things happen.
Stranger things have definitely happened. But this would be a meltdown of cataclysmic proportions if the Brunel Burners were to throw this one away. James Kelvin, who came into this setup as a player back in 2015, decided to stick around as a coach, taking control of the wide receivers for a few years before being the offensive coordinator for 2022 to 2024. Now 21-0 as a head coach. No surprise it's the same record as Christian Zielinski has as a quarterback in the 2 years that he's been there. A lot of questions about whether it's down to the North American quarterback or whether it's down to the approach of Kelvin. I think a lot of people, it would be fair to say, would say it's a little bit of both, but it is almost the brainchild and the baby, this setup right now, the way the Burners have it set up under the guidance of their head coach. Zielinski takes the snap, throws over the middle, left his receiver with too much to do on the inside from João Camara, diving at the floor to do his best to bring that in.
Camara really has been Zielinski's go-to receiver in all of this, really wanting to utilise him. But sometimes it just hasn't necessarily come up trumps.
Surprising to see them go to the air attack as well, considering there's not long left and you want to limit the potential for errors. Only takes one to come back the other way to breathe new life into this game. Two tailbacks now either side of Zielinski out of the gun. And they give it to Moore the third, who stays on his feet, goes rattling forward for a few extra yards after contact. And it is a first down, pickup of 10 on the play.
It's the way that Moore the third moves. If you actually look at how that play develops, he's running straight towards the line, sees the hole, cuts up to look like he's actually about to go around the sideline, but then suddenly makes an instep through the lineman to actually make those yards. And then even then, he had guys around him trying to drag him down. And I actually lost him at one point. I was thinking, how has he got that far?
Officials timeout. This is the 2-minute warning at exactly 2 minutes.
2-minute warning there down on the field. 2 minutes separating the Burners from a trophy. The national premier perhaps calling their name as well. No timeouts remaining for SGS. And 1st and 10 as well for Zielinski in the offense. And they're going to look to the air, and they want to add insult to injury, and it's out of the hands of Camara. He knows that was an opportunity to get another one on the board.
Yeah, if we just watch this replay here, he's got great protection there from his two backs as it goes through the air. What a wonderful ball, and then it just comes out of his fingertips as he's leapt. But the DBs had no hope in getting it. He was the only player that could touch that ball.
Perfect position to put it in from Zielinski. Dropped it right in behind the coverage. And that could have been another 6 on the board. Stat padding perhaps for the season at this point, as they just give the hand off, and huge amount of room for Davide Pinto to work his way forward. Flag in the backfield in the meantime. Down at the 25-yard line. Rare carry for the backup tailback, but he's trying to make the most of the opportunities that he's getting. Star of the final last year, of course, Pinto. Relegated to almost a backup assistant role, really, with the productivity of David Moore III. You just got to feed everybody, right? Give everybody their chances to touch the ball, and that just about keeps everyone happy. Very difficult to do as coordinators and head coaches in teams.
A legal block below the waist. Offense number 22. 15-yard penalty. Repeat second down. The clock will start on the snap.
An legal block from David Moore III moves the Burners back 15 yards.
Chop blocks in British American Football New Ball got ruled out a fair few years ago now. But unfortunately, I did see that happen. I was thinking, was the flag thrown because of that? And clearly it was. I know that many a player in past times have utilised that as a way to, as you say, get down those blitzing players.
So 2nd and 25 then for the offence of the Burners. Daniel in motion pre-snap, but Zielinski down before he can get going. Loss on the play that will back them up even further. But the clock continues to run, and there's nothing really that the Pride can do about that.
Doesn't necessarily matter how far they push them back. Brunel is still in control right now, still have the ball. The only thing that SGS can do is,
if they can elongate a couple of these plays, Brunel, as well, this could be over. If you've got a bit of run around in the backfield and avoid getting tackled for 10 seconds in you, this could be done and dusted. They might still need to get the extra set of downs on 3rd and 25 with a minute remaining. Whistles from the officials.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down. SGS have declined a 10-second run-off option. The clock will start on the snap.
Well, as you say, it doesn't matter too much. 3rd and 30 now. This is only going to hinder the stat column, really, for the offense. Empty backfield. Zielinski stands, tries to step up away from the rush, gets away from it. Through the hands of David Moore III, and he receives a late bit of contact from Krubali, I think it was, on that sideline, and Krubali's quick to walk away, but not before the flags fly. That should potentially keep this drive going then for the Burners, and that will be game done and dusted in Brunel's favour.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense number 23. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down. The clock will start on the snap.
1st down game over. And now the celebrations on the sideline can start for Brunel. Best formation in sport, this. Victory formation surely coming up.
I'll be surprised if they do anything different. Why would you not just kneel it out?
Well, they're just taking their time to get into victory formation, as it's almost fitting that the sun comes out from behind the clouds once again for what will surely be the last play of the Vase final. One more kneel down. One last bit of work to do. Zielinski. Oh, they're going to go looking through the air still. No let up from the Brunel offence. As forced out of bounds is Cole McFarlane, who gets a reception for his troubles as well today. Sack, catch, rushing touchdown. It's a good day. It's a pretty complete day as well.
I mean,
0-3-5, 35 seconds remaining. First charge timeout, Brunel.
Brunel are keeping this going here. They have got all the desire in the world to keep their foot right on the neck.
Why don't you just put McFarlane on as the kicker for the extra point? You know, if he can get another touchdown, or if Brunel can get another touchdown here, just put him on as the kicker for the extra point. Then he's like done the whole total of.
Well, he might pass one in a moment as well. He does have a passing touchdown to his name this season. 1 pass, 3 receiving, and 2 rushing coming into today. Lines up at the tight end spot. Watch him coming off that left edge, taking it from Zielinski and then throwing one down this right sideline. It's not going to be the case. Zielinski will take the snap, stands, flings one high, looking for Kamara, who doesn't quite see it in the air, not before the coverage comes in to break it up. Got to ask you though, Tash, because there will be some that will not be thinking this is really the the highest level of sportsmanship when it comes to the end of this game. It's a lead that isn't going to be eaten into by SGS at this point. It is just seemingly stat padding now on the season. Doesn't look pretty to the neutral, this.
No, it doesn't. I think that if you support one of the teams or you support the other teams, then you're probably going to stick around. But if you are a neutral, you're probably thinking, oh, it's a bit messy out there, and especially the amount of flags that have been thrown for personal fouls, late hits, etc. And I think that in that sense, you do want to see a cleaner game. And so I think there will be maybe some disappointment from both the teams in terms of that discipline, and that'll be something that they'll especially want to tie up for next season to make sure that everyone across the board is playing like a team, playing together.
Zielinski, again, trying to get away from the pressure. He's flushed out to the left, able to at least keep his legs moving and dive forward, but he's caught with a hefty hit, but dishing it out as much as he's giving it as well, Zielinski, and happy to celebrate in front of the SGS players.
It's 0-1-4, 14 seconds. Second charge timeout, Brunel.
Brunel keeps stopping this clock and keep the seconds ticking on it. They want to get another score, make it a bigger margin of victory than they had over SGS earlier in the season.
I mean, they have deserved it when you look at the level of play they've done, the amount of yards they've managed to get it down the field. That's what they're going to be looking for now. I mean, we thought, especially I thought it was going to be just victory formation and you just kneel it out just to be like, yep, we've won. But they're thinking this is a final. We want to show why we've got into the final and why we truly deserve to win the Vase.
Why perhaps as well, they want to be competing at the highest level of university brick ball as well in the coming future. Zielinski. Pressure off the edge. And this time he's not going to be able to get it. Oh, he's done superbly well to get away from it, avoiding 3 tacklers, but it falls incomplete. Had absolutely no right to be able to even make a pass in that moment. 3 men miss.
How? That's all you can say.
The body control, the ability to ride the tackles and use the momentum of the tackles to keep himself back on his feet. The centre of gravity was near perfect here from the Brunel quarterback. 1, 2, 3. It's not quite Michael Vick, but it's on a similar vein. Fourth and 4. Zielinski again, able to keep his feet, able to get outside, able to throw, and throws that one dead. It's a turnover on downs anyway, but that is game as well as the Burners sideline celebrate. They have taken the Vase final in dominant fashion. They've tried to send a message to the upper echelon as well of British Uniball. Another victory over SGS Pride. 2 on the season. But not only that, silverware coming to the trophy cabinet. And you have to say, Tash, in dominant fashion, victory was dealt out.
Yeah, just from the get-go, they were the team that came out fighting. SGS made those really, really big errors at the start, and unfortunately that then led to scores. It led to Brunel just having that positive link up going down the pitch consistently, and we just never really saw that from the SGS offense at any point really. There was the moment that the kind of, I guess, 5 minutes where they got the touchdown, that worked really well, but other than that we didn't really get to see a whole lot of them all game, which was a little bit of a disappointment. However, you can't really look at their season and say that's been a disappointing season. They deserve to be here. They got here, and they got here well. When you look at their scores, they did put big scores up against some of the other teams that they played against. And so they shouldn't be disappointed with this season. Yes, it's ended in a disappointing way. However, it's the same scoreline as what they've had against Brunel previously. So I don't think this is actually anything to be disheartened about. This isn't anything to be disappointed about for SGS. Just wasn't their day, and Brunel came out fighting.
Yeah, sometimes you are just outmatched by a better opponent at the end of the day. It doesn't take anything away, as you say, Tash, from the achievement that the Pride have had this season to get to this stage of the season and to get to this game. But it is the Burners, buoyed by the often imperious quarterback Christian Zielinski, powered by the hard-nosed running game of David Moore III, and helped out by the multi-purpose Swiss Army knife of British University American Football Cole McFarlane. And those are just 3 of the names that stand up really on the roster, on the team sheet, and make you pay attention as well. Of course, Joe Kamara with his touchdown on the day. All started with David Moore III before Kamara doubling the lead to 12 points. Missed extra points, but it didn't matter too much. Cole McFarlane on the rushing touchdown and a 2-point conversion to make it 20-0. And it was only late on as SGS finally started to get some momentum through Ashley Bailey, and then a drive finished off by Adam Deverell. And they were able to get on the board late on, but unfortunately it was too little too late as the Pride players look to make their way out to midfield and want to lead the handshakes against an opposition that perhaps they'll just be a little tired of seeing now in the 25-26 season. Considering some of the chippiness that we saw during this game, it's nice to see the handshakes being adopted with a smile from both sets of players. Some strong celebrations as well down there though for those in yellow. What do you think about the level of football that there is for the Brunel Burners and the potential that they have to perhaps play at the very top of the game in this country, Tash.
Yeah, they've brought on, and we mentioned about this earlier about the North American players, but they have brought in some scholarships, and they do have a bright future because they have people that are potentially committed to them or can see what they are trying to build and can see what they can do. And I think that that's going to be really important for the Burners, and actually I think that's going to be where they decide, are we ready now to step up? Because if they've got the backing from their university to be able to bring in more players and contend at that national premier level, that's going to be really important. So that's where the decisions are going to be made, is are we there yet?
Are they there yet?
I think they could be. That if you look at the level of those kind of top players they're bringing in, so we've talked a lot about Christian Zielinski, we've talked a lot about David Moore III. They're all import players who have played at a really high level. What we need now, with Zielinski is now currently playing at Warriors, but what they need now is to take that forward, because is this Zielinski's final year? That's going to be a question. Are there any other players on this team? How many players are they losing? Because that's a big part of Uniball, which is if you're losing a really high number of third-year players, do you have the team behind you to be able to recruit? Have you already started that recruitment, but recruitment for high-caliber players so that you can actually take the next step?
Yeah, there are some key components. Rahul Bala Subramanian, who will be missed on the offensive line as well, the fifth-year veteran, most appearances in team history for the Burners, over 50, and there may just be a reshake and a reshuffle of that roster before there are toes dipped into the top level waters, that's for sure. While we wait for the handshakes to finish up, let's take you through the touchdowns from an exciting but unfortunately rather one-sided affair in the end in the Vase final on Touchdown Tuesday. All started with the early gains from David Moore III after SGS Pride shot themselves in the foot slightly on the opening couple of possessions. A fumble setting up the Burners in perfect position in opposition territory after the first play of the game for the Pride on offence, and a fumble on the resulting kickoff as well. They couldn't capitalise, the Burners, until the second quarter, but this connection from Christian Zielinski with a man he's found all season, Joao Kamara, doubling the advantage, another 6 on the board, another missed extra point. A 2-point conversion, but it wouldn't matter too much in the end in the grand schemes of the day. And that connection is one they will want to see. Maybe a couple of Masters offers being thrown around to those at Brunel. And then this, patience from Cole McFarlane, who does it all this season. Through the air, on the ground and receiving, and on both sides of the ball, getting his name on the score sheet as well. He'd run in a 2-point conversion to make it a 20-0 lead. And from that point on, you knew it was going to be a really tough ask for the Pride to get back into this one. They would at least have something to celebrate come the end of this game. Short yardage run for about 2 yards out for Adam Deverill, able to punch one in on the ground to at least give them 6 points, equal the score and the scoreline of the defeat that SGS suffered to Brunel earlier in the season. And the celebrations can truly begin for the victorious. Trophy presentations coming up, of course, as those that are key to the victory get lofted on the shoulders of others. Talking of being on the shoulders of giants, Britball is looking to be on the shoulders of some of the biggest stars in the college game. And it's all through the partnership between Touchdown Tuesday and the Union Jack Classic, coming this September to Wembley Stadium.
This is more than a game. It's tradition. It's families. It's generations. It's pure tribalism. It's excitement like you've never experienced. Wembley Stadium 2026. Big moments, big hits, big stakes. Kansas versus Arizona State. Reserve your seats today. Tickets going fast. UnionJackClassic.com.
Flags fly high with the boisterous B of Brunel, and the burners planted not quite in centre field. Somebody's got the yardage slightly incorrect at the 40-yard line rather than midfield. Difficult to get it into the AstroTurf as well. Not sure that's necessarily going to happen for Wayne Jobo, but I tell you what, makes a good photograph, that's for sure.
I'm also thinking, please don't damage that field. We've still got another game to go.
Yeah, potentially. We have got the big one coming up as well. Kick-off around about 7 o'clock tonight. Join us on the stream for that one as Touchdown Tuesday reaches its climax. Durham against UE. And a national title at stake in a repeat of the 2024 game. Touchdown, where I won't put you on the spot. Then you've got to go outside and brace the weather conditions now as well, rather than being in the commentary booth here. But yeah, I won't get you predictions just yet. I'll let you stay safe on the sideline without committing to anybody.
I've got to get other people to commit to it, so it's fine. I can keep my thoughts to myself.
Some impressive backflips there from Jao Kamara in the background as, yeah, you get the feeling it's going to be a really good bus journey home. And those of us that are still able to remember the bus journey home from many a sporting event at university just knows how fun that can be, particularly when you're celebrating a title like that. And that's what they'll get their hands on in just a moment. And for those that are departing these programmes, both for the victors and for SGS Pride, it's still a fantastic way to go out on an occasion like this, and a venue like this that was well supported as well. We had a lot of fans around the edges of this field taking it all in and braving the blustery conditions. It's not a bad way to sign off your university ball career if this is to be the last game for some of those players.
Not at all. When you think about it, most uni ball players, their final game will actually be at a varsity or potentially say the last game in their uni ball season and won't even make it to playoffs. So these players, they're so fortunate to be in that position, because I don't think that every player can say that they had the same final game as what these guys have had, or anybody that's been in today's trophy vase or the big final national championship.
Yeah, I'm going to say the varsity games don't necessarily count as much, but that's only because my old alumni Aberystwyth got absolutely pasted by Bangor just a few days ago. So yeah, I'm going to say that varsity games don't necessarily count.
See, mine won, so you know.
You're holding on to that victory as long as possible.
2 days ago, they won, so I'm taking that. Staff Stallions, congratulations on your win against Kiel.
To be honest, if you're playing for Tirana Aberystwyth at the moment, you get very much used to losing. I have to say, it's not been the most successful season for Aber, but hopefully it will get better over the years, as the officials will get their token as being part of this occasion, led by Ewan Patterson. Not too much to do in the end, aside from deal with a little bit of the rough and tumble that came from the likes of Jabril Krubali at the end. There's just frustrations started to boil over, but you can understand that when you've been achieving at such a high level, particularly when you're a key component and have played in the Canadian Junior Football League. You're part of the GB men's setup and you just see a game slipping away from you. You can certainly understand the frustration just perhaps coming and shining through to the forefront as much as anything else, but thankfully nothing too horrendous that will tarnish the reputation of a team, a player, or what has been a superb afternoon of football. I wonder if you can make yourself get one of those Union Jack Classic jackets just to keep you warm down there on the field as well, Tash.
I'll steal one. I'll find. If you see one of them without their jackets, you know who's got it.
As SGS Pride take their consolation medals. It will still be, I'm sure, maybe not in the light of day right now, maybe not tomorrow morning either, but in the coming weeks or so, it will be a fond memory, I'm sure, for many of a very successful season. And perhaps act as well as a token to perhaps galvanise others to try and go one step further.
As we said, there should be nothing that they should take away in terms of disappointment from this season, because it hasn't been a disappointing season. It may have been not been the end that they wanted, but they really need to look back and look at the scores and look at what they achieved and take that forward into next season, because they do deserve to be here.
And this is great sportsmanship as well, creating the guard of honour for Brunel to walk through as they go to collect their medals. It'll hurt having to watch this for the pride, but it's a superb show of sportsmanship. Kamara's got the WWE belt out as well. You can only really have that if you're a champion. Well, he is today. Christian Zielinski and Jamal Walker leading them through with the star wide out as well. And the medals to be collected. And the prizes to be handed out. The MVP award as well to be dished out. And again, there are a fair few contenders, especially on that offensive side of the ball. And when you look at David Moore III kick-starting this game into life in terms of the scoring and continuing to carry the load. Zielinski found his rhythm, particularly more in the second half. He was starting to enjoy the contact by the end of it as well. Not many times you see quarterbacks relishing those sorts of hits, but
he was actually asking for it.
buoyed by a 20-6 lead, that'll certainly give you a little bit of extra juice going into the heavy hits. A chance to gather around the champions banner.
It can only go to one player. The MVP of the 2026 Open Vase American Football Vase. It goes to Brunel University's number 12.
It is Cole McFarlane who's the MVP. An embrace from his quarterback, who I'm sure would have perhaps fancied it himself.
But I think you heard the cheer there from the team and how excited and happy they were for him. So that really, really matters in those moments where if your team are behind you, it shows they all actually really get behind you, and they also recognise that you are a great player and you are somebody that they're lucky to have.
First one to congratulate him as well, his teammate from Chapman, Zielinski. He needs to get the pose in front of everybody. Get the banner up as well. Superb effort from him on both sides of the ball. MVP, game-winning quarterback, and a trophy to boot as well. Is it the top level of university ball for the Brunel Burners that beckons next? But it's a superbly successful touchdown Tuesday in the Vase final, and a chance to take home all the glory on an afternoon that will not be long forgotten in the memory of all of these players. A superbly impressive season from the Burners, undefeated on the year and capping it all off. And there'll be celebrations that go long into the night. A victory here at Loughborough University by a final score of 20-6. The Burners beat the SGS Pride. Everybody gets a touch, and everybody will get a touch, and everybody will probably have a drink out of it as well. It finishes Brunel 20, SGS 6, and the Vase is going back with the Burners.
This is more than a game. It's tradition. It's families. It's generations. It's pure tribalism. It's excitement like you've never experienced. Wembley Stadium 2026. Big moments, big hits, big stakes. Kansas versus Arizona State. Reserve your seats today. Tickets going fast. UnionJackClassic.com.